A very warm welcome to the fourth session of the Building Social Inclusion for Older People in Regional and Remote Communities Forum. I'm Rebecca Hutchinson. I'm Gamblers Health Partnerships Coordinator at LCHS. Today, I have great pleasure in introducing Angela Chittum, a proud Gunai woman and a traditional owner, to welcome us to country and acknowledge the Aboriginal land and people of the various locations that we're all signing in from today. Thank you, Angela.
Hello, my name is Angela Chittum and I am a representative of the Gunai Kurnai people of Gippsland, who are the traditional custodians of the land we meet on today. I'd like to begin by paying my respects to my elders past and present and the emerging leaders, also any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people in attendance. On behalf of the traditional custodians, the Gunai Kurnai community, I welcome you all. And I just wanted to say that building social inclusion is such an important issue, and I'm really happy to see changes happening in this area. And as we know, gambling can also be such an enormous issue for many people. So it's great that we are starting the conversation around gambling and making a better future for all involved or affected by the trap that so many can be severely affected by.
Thank you, Angela. I am joining you all from Gunai Kurnai land this afternoon, and I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, to acknowledge that these traditionally owned lands were never ceded, and to pay my personal respects to the Aboriginal people and their elders past, present, and emerging. We would like to acknowledge all First Nations people who are at this forum today. To set the tone for today's forum, I might just start by sharing some gambling stats. 69% of Victorian adults gamble, and participation in gambling increases with age. Isolation and loneliness in older adults contributes in a huge way to this. And that is, the topic of today's forum. In Australia, we spend about $25 billion per year on gambling, which in Victoria is about $5.8 billion. And in Gippsland, we spend $112 million just on pokies per year. So it comes to about $9 million per month in Gippsland. And if you're interested in figures for any particular local government area, they're all on the screen there for you. And if you look at people aged 50 and above, we know that people aged 50 and above contribute 60% of pokey revenues. And this is an age group that's really affected by isolation. And on your screens, you can see the kind of figures that are spent per day, month, and year by people aged 50 and over in Gippsland. Without further ado, I would now like to introduce our guests for today. Judy and the Three Sides of the Coin Theatre Project, which works with people who have been harmed by gambling. Let's welcome them warmly. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you, and welcome to everyone. Yes, it's lovely to be here and to be with all you workers, you Gippsland workers. I see many from different shires and from different services, My Care and Meals on Wheels, and great variety of services. So I will introduce Three Sides of the Coin project, which I've coordinated now, where we are celebrating 10 years this year. And we began when we invited Melbourne writer Arnold Zabel to run some storytelling workshops with people who'd struggled with gambling addiction. And it was a great success. So these were writing workshops, and it ended up in publishing a little book, From Ruin to Recovery, Gamblers Share Their Stories. And I'm happy to send any of you a copy of the book if you would like, for your clientele, for your own use. And so these are very personal stories of people's journeys into gambling addiction and out into recovery. And then we were asked to showcase these stories at the Melbourne Writers Festival in 2013. And that's when we got our artistic director, Catherine Simmons, on board to help the group dramatise their writings. And so from a group where there was only one person who was able to put their name to their writing because of the shame and stigma around gambling. A few months later, there were 7 people who stood in the spotlight at the Melbourne Writers' Festival. And that performance was met by a standing ovation. And I think for all of us, except for Catherine, who knows her work, it was like a wow factor of really understanding of how theatre, how storytelling can create such impact. So we've been on this journey with people who've chosen to transform their painful and negative experiences into positive impact. But I'll just hand over to Catherine, who received an OAM this year for her work in the performing arts with people of lived experience of all sorts of issues. I hand over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Judy. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Look, performing arts and what do I do, and theatre, you know, it could all sound a bit abstract to many people. I'm sure you'll probably think, oh, well, okay, well, so what? But the point is that it's about story. And as human beings, we all have a story. We live our lives. We carry our stories with us. So to my mind, everybody's a storyteller. You just got to give them the chance. And you got to listen. You got to really listen. And that's what my job is to really listen and ask people, what do you want to say? And yes, the way that people say it, yes, it's theatre, storytelling. You know what that means? We tell stories with our bodies, don't we? Our emotions are part of our life. So for me, it's about a confidence building thing too, because addiction disconnects people from themselves, their community, and others. And in a way, when you make theatre, you're trying to get people to be in their bodies, to feel their own story and to tell it. And so that's what my job's about. I hope that makes it a little bit easier to understand when we say performing arts. So in this context, the people are the experts of their own experience, not me. I can't tell anybody else's story, not really, they can. So it's about me really thinking, what do you want to say, and motivate that, because people don't do this because they want to act. No, they end up acting, maybe also reluctantly sometimes, but they act. As Ken tells you later, he says, I do my hippy dippy stuff on people, but that's another story. So just to say, in this space, people speak up because they want change. Advocacy. They've been hurt by gambling. They don't want others to be hurt by gambling. So that's why we're here today with you to hopefully, I'm sure, to help you connect to that feeling, to that meaning, and try and get some understanding and ask questions. So in a moment, we're going to present a couple of scenes. But I just want to say before we present, I want you to take care of you too, because emotion, like I said, is part of being human. And so we hope that you feel emotional when you watch what you're about to watch, but take care of you in case it brings up something in you. Okay, that's really important. So now we're going to hear from Carolyn. Carolyn is going to perform live on Zoom. It's not pre-filmed. She's in her lounge room, or like you're all in your different spaces, and she's going to present her story live to you. After Carolyn's presented, I'll ask you to take to the chat box and put in a word of how you feel, what you remember, something she said, whatever you want to say, and I'll just read it out while you're all putting the ideas in.
I've got 2 children. First marriage, so in the early 80s, fell apart. I left the family home with the kids. He filed for custody of the children, and I lost my children for 3 years in the family court. The judge was known for penalising women. I remarried. On our 10th anniversary, we went away for a fabulous weekend away, fabulous. Next day I came home from work, kids are out the front crying. Handed me a note. he'd left. He'd come back through the day with a girlfriend and taken everything. Left me with 2 mattresses on the floor. Well, there and then I swore I would never, ever, ever fall in love again. Well, a few years later, guess what? I started a new job and I fell in love with my boss. One day he came out of his office and said to me, "Would you like to go out to the dinner tonight? Have a play of the pokies?" Of course I said, sure. We had a wonderful meal. We sat, we talked. Well, actually he talked. I listened like a good office wife. Then after dinner, I followed him out of the dining and into the pokies. Oh, wow. I only ever played the one-armed bandits over the border. He chose the machine, taught me how to play. So what do? I put $20 in here. My God, that took it fast. Doesn't give you a chance to change your mind. All right, so which button do I press? This one. That took $1. It's $1 a spin. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. So you reckon if I keep playing, I'm going to win it back? All right, well, I trust you. Okay. So where are you going? You're going to another machine. Well, don't go far just in case I need you. Please? Okay. I wanted him. I can't stop wanting him. I know he'll never want me, but I've just got to be with him no matter what. Oh my God, look at that. I've got the free games. I've got the free games. Oh, look at that. The balls are bouncing, the girls are dancing. Look at that. The free games. Oh my God. For 13 years. You wouldn't believe it. I went with him for 13 years, 2-3 times a week. He'd quite often go off to a girlfriend's place, leave me sitting there playing. All right, so I'm only just going to finish this machine and then I'll head off home. All right, well, yeah, all right, whatever. See you tomorrow. Why does he even bother asking me out if he's going to go to a girlfriend's place? Why waste my time? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put money in that $5 machine over there. I'm going to play it up high. I'm going to have a big win. I'll win that jackpot. I'll show him. Then I'll go home. Oh, God, I've lost. Now I have to go home. God, I'm lost. Oh, boy. Been on my own 20 years. Kids had all moved on. They've got the kids of their own. I've got 6 absolutely beautiful grandkids. But they all live up the country. So what am I going to do with myself? What do I do? I go to the pokies. Come on. Come on. You know, it's like this song that gets stuck in your head. You know, you listen to something and all of a sudden all day it's stuck in your head, stuck in your head, stuck in your head. It's just what the pokies do, stuck in your head, stuck in your head. Pokey, 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 pokey. You know, even on the way home, they're absolutely everywhere. Everywhere on the freeway. They're there. Oh, now, where will I go tonight? I know. I'll check my loyalty card. Yeah, that's where I'll go. That's where I'll go. Hi, could I please get some fish and chips? Thanks, I've got plenty of points. Thank you. I'll just be over there at that machine having a win. Great, thank you. Oh, come on, you know I'm loyal. You've got my card. You know I'm loyal. I'm loyal to you. I'm friggin' loyal to this company. You know, for 13 years. 13 years I've worked for this company. 13 long bloody years. Long hours, timesheets, looked after the boys, did all the accounts, bought him clients, you know, as PA, ran for his bloody coffee even. I even went out to the airport in the middle of the night and picked him and his girlfriend up if it was needed. You know, I tripled the company's profit. You know, I never got paid for overtime. I took on a manager's role, and when I asked him for a pay rise, he said no. Then his son, 23 years old, just a baby, comes on, takes the manager's role, and what happens? He earns a hell of a lot more money than me. Hell of a lot more money than me. You know, oh, geez, just take it. Just bloody hell, why not? Why not just take it all? Everybody else does, just take it all. What the hell? But you know something? I wasn't that reckless that I didn't keep food in the house. I always paid my bills. I always paid my rent, and I always kept $20 in my purse. Always. But then it started. He came out of his office one day and said to me, "Would you like to go away for a weekend? I'm going to play golf and you can drive the buggy." Oh, well, of course I'm going to go because I love driving the buggy, but I love being with him. But what am I going to do? I've only got this 20. What am I going to do? I know. I'll borrow 1,000 from the company. I'll put it back next week. I hate doing this. I feel sick doing this, but I will. I'll put it back next week for sure because I have a win over the weekend. No, I lost. Nobody looks at the accounts, so I'll take another 1,000 today. I'll play tonight and I'll win. I'll definitely win tonight, for sure. For sure I'll win. I know I'll win. Oh, God, I lost again. I'll borrow another 1,000. I'll definitely put it back next week, And I'll go to Crown tonight because Crown pays the big jackpots. Oh, look at that. I got a $2,000 jackpot. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, but that means I've got to take a check. What am I going to do? I know. I'll play it down a bit so that I don't have to take a check. Oh, God, now I'm down to 1,200. What am I going to do? Come on, the free games are going to be due. Oh, shit. Oh, you bloody idiot. Now it's all gone. Oh, what an idiot. I'll have to borrow another 1,000 because I've got to get this money back. And the only way I can do that is by playing these games. God, blimey. I'll go to this other club tonight. Oh, God, I can't take out any more at this club. Throw out, I wasted 500 here. What am I going to do? I'll have to go to the Seaford on the way home. They'll let me draw out another 500 and that's that 1,000 gone. And once that's gone, I'm out of here. God, it's 1 a.m. and I'm still here. I'm down to $200 out of that 500. Where am I going to go? 2:30 in the morning. I'm sitting here. Oh my God, it's all gone. It's all gone. You are an intelligent woman. You are not stupid, but you are doing this. You can't stop doing this. I shouldn't be driving like this. I shouldn't. My life's just not worth it. But my kids, I can't do it to my kids. I really can't do it to my kids. I hate lying to everybody. I'm here. I'm at the supermarket. Oh, guess what? I'm out for dinner. Like, how many times can one person go out for dinner and how many friends on earth does she have? You know, this lying, this lie every day. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, if I'd stopped playing, I won't steal. But if I don't steal, I can't play. Mrs. Crawford, you have been charged with obtaining money by deception. You pleaded guilty, and I'm now going to hand down your sentence. You will be sentenced to 18 months imprisonment with a 2 years corrections order after prison. You must pay back the $400,000 you have taken, and you must continue with counselling. Oh, no, please. I can't do it. Oh, God, 18 months. months, my children are in the court there with me, and oh, their faces, they're so upset. Oh God, don't take me away, please don't take me away. Oh. You know, even though prison was horrible, 18 months away from my children was horrible. I received the counselling I needed to stop gambling. I still saw the counsellor, and it was driving from where I live in Frankston to Kyneton every week to see him. But I'm now over this addiction, or should I say through this addiction. It's horrible. My barrister didn't understand the addictions. That made it hard in court. My children still love me to death. And for that, I am so grateful, so grateful. I paid all the money back to the employer. I paid it back out of my superannuation. And also my father passed just before I was sentenced to prison, and I had inheritance come from him. I have nothing. I live on a pension like a lot of people. I'm happier doing this. I do all this advocacy work because it keeps me going at all times. I just love trying to help people. I'm definitely still lonely. I live on my own and have been for 39 years now. I've been on my own. But you know, I now know how to substitute the loneliness for a lot of other things with the help from people and with my own determination. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. So that was live to you people. How privileged are you, to hear from Carolyn? Please take to the chat box word, feeling, no right or wrong. If everybody, please put a response there. How do you feel? Or what thoughts in your mind? Or what did she say that's really stuck with you? And I'll just read it out. Just keep writing for a bit. That'd be so cool. Thank you, everyone. Your responses are really important to Carolyn and to us. You are an inspiration to us all. Emotional, powerful stuff can happen to anyone, eh? Mind boggles. Confronting situation, raw and honest. Well done, Carolyn. Great job. Thanks, Carolyn. Such raw and honest performance. I love this so much and really resonate with the lack of understanding surrounding addiction. Carolyn is brave. There's so many layers, wrong on so many levels, and honest and heartfelt. Keep up the great work. Carolyn, you're brave. Wow. Thanks. Incredible story. Difficult struggle, but you're through it.
So brave to explore the bits of ourselves we put out there to reinforce ourselves. A lot of empathy, sad in heart.
A big impact, really brought the rawness. More people need to hear this. Thanks for your generosity and sharing. So powerful. Thank you very much, everybody, for your words, because it always means a lot to us too. Somebody got a question now for Carolyn?
This probably isn't a question, but I guess I just wanted to validate how significant loneliness is when it comes to trying to get through addictions. Loneliness is just such a understated, overwhelming feeling. I work with families impacted by addiction, and I have my own lived experience as such. I just see the loneliness that drags people back into addiction. Carolyn, just thank you so much for sharing that, because it's so resonating and so valuable to share your lived experience. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for drawing that out about the fact of loneliness, because, many people think gambling's greed, addiction's something else, but, people are there for many reasons, and loneliness, like you just said, is huge. What could be some signs that workers could look for that might help them understand that gambling's going on?
The main thing is to be open and honest with anybody that you think has got a gambling problem. Don't pussyfoot around it. Say, do you think you've got a gambling problem? People, and I know myself, if I had that opportunity and people came up to me prior to me doing what I did, I probably would have said yes. None of my family knew. None of my family knew I was going out a lot, but I think if they came up and said, Mum, we think you've got a gambling problem, where do you really go every night? Then that would have helped. I would have sat back and thought, oh, shit, I'm hurting my family here. So I think it's important just to be upfront, honest, and ask the question. Don't pretend that it's not there. Just gambling is an issue. And let the people know that you don't have to be ashamed about gambling. It is not you that has the addiction. The machines are what cause the addiction. I never put myself in an addiction. Everybody does this. I hate it. But anyway, I never said I was addicted until I learnt about it in prison. So more has to be told about. It is an addiction. It's not something you can control once it gets hold of you, and you do need the help.
How do you stay in control of your behaviours now to stay on track?
The way I keep on track now is sheer determination. Like I said, I'm still lonely, I'm still get upset and everything else. I'm still seeing a counsellor down here. COVID knocked me around a lot in the respects that I know it affected everybody, but it also gave me the feeling that I was back in prison, because I went to prison in 2016, so it hasn't been that long. But I'm determined now to make a change. I work with this performance. I also speak with Free Spin, and I'm also part of the Alliance of Gambling Reform, Voices for Reform. So I'm doing all that. I'm in the media. Look, if anybody wants a story, if anybody wants me there or whatever, I'm there. I don't mind my name being out there because I want change. I don't want one person ending up in prison like I did. And God forsake me, I met so many people in prison that had taken a lot more than me, hell of a lot more. And even one lady that took 4 million over the internet, gambled it off over the internet.
I just wanted to emphasize that really one of our main purposes today and on all days is to get the gambling on the workers' radar, because we've found that gambling isn't on people's radar as is drugs and alcohol, and people don't ask about it and don't talk about it. And as Carolyn said, somehow when we forge the relationships with people, we do want to be including gambling as a question, as a routine question.
Is we're going to watch a video that has been created. This is not live on Zoom with Ken, but Ken is with us in the room. So after you've seen his video, which is about his life story, then we'll do the same thing to the comment box and some questions with Ken.
Life is a series of blinks. I was 16 years old. I was playing senior football. I was good enough. Every Saturday morning, off to the TAB. Listen to them, how much they won. Even on the field when we're playing. What won the first league of the quaddie? I was 16 going on 26. 21, joined the police force. Changed the world. No such thing as PTSD. Suck it up, son. Suck it up. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full, sir. Let's get a slab. No, get 2 slabs. Hunt every day. A daily double in Sydney, 1 in Queensland, quaddie at Bendigo. I only played the poker machines in between races. Oh, there's dogs over there. I'll have another trifecta there to here, there to here. Blink. I'm 27, I've got 2 kids on 1 wage. I'm going up the shops, I'll get the potatoes. The TAB was right opposite. I'll go and get the kids some footy training. Don't tell Mum we've been here. Dad. I walked in with a pocket full of money and walked out with nothing. Mate, can you lend me $100? Mate, can you lend me $200? Bills punting my ass off. Leave me alone. Can I borrow? Can you lend me? Bills. You lend me? Bills. Thanks, mate. Back off. If I want to have a bet, I will have a bet. But when I won, come here, kids, and sing with Dad. We're in the money, pizza for tea. When I was losing, don't say a word, because the next one is going to be the big one. I knew for a long time that I was going to go to jail for what I was doing. Take a seat. You are under arrest. Did you take money off these people? But anything you say or do will be recorded. I used to be a copper. Did you take money off these people? I want to ring my wife. $134,000. Go on, tell them the truth. Yes, I did take money. I gambled it. Honesty. I just sat there staring at the wall. Self-loathe, racked with guilt. A sink with a cold tap. Gambling kept me in and everybody else out. I was in a prison. No emotion. Stay away from me when you're looking in the mirror. And you're saying these things to yourself. It's time to reach out. How? I'm a reasonably intelligent man. For 30 years, I was in the prison of gambling. Gambling was interspersed with all my thoughts. I thought if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. And it will take all. It took all mine, strength and courage to do it. On the 3rd of November 2010 was the last time I had a bet. I could have just bullshitted my way through everything, done my time in jail, and just stepped straight back into it. Strength and courage. I know what I did. I hardly ever saw you. You know, I know it was hard, and I can only show you know, how much I do love you. I've always loved you. How did you feel when, you know, I wouldn't come home or I was angry? Don't hold back. Tell me. Honesty that's wrapped up in love. You know, the warmth in the house again is just, I don't mind chopping wood. I don't care if the money's no good. Grandkids, I've got 2 grandkids. You know how popular as a policeman? Well, once upon a time, this man, or this boy, he had a kind heart, but he could not stop gambling. Do you know what gambling is? You lose your money. He took money, he got caught. He went to jail. Oh, he's been to jail, so therefore he can be no good, which isn't true at all. He went back to school and got a couple of diplomas. He was going to be the best man, the best father, the best husband, best person in the community as he could. And he made friends with himself again. And once he made friends with himself, he was able to make friends with everybody. And that was the man who went to jail. Did you like that story? Because I've got another one about Smokey the Bear.
Yay! Yes, but that commitment to tell your own story is huge, you know, huge for advocacy and change. Please take to the chat box again your feelings, comments, no right or wrong, and then we'll have a chance to chat with Ken. Very uplifting. Well done, Carolyn and Ken. Glad you made it through. All kudos to you. And I made friends with myself again. Beautiful. Another powerful story. Thanks, Ken. Good on you. Again, for the honesty, the emotion, it's so valuable to hear. Another raw and honest telling of a very personal truth. Thanks, Ken. It takes real courage to do what you've done. Fantastic. Thanks, Ken, for sharing your story. Great messages to help understand the issues of gambling and consequences. It's amazing that self-respect seems to be very important. Thank you, Ken. An incredible story and recovery. Out of something deemed bad, so much good comes as a result. Love one out. Thank you, Ken. Yes, real strength and courage and helping the next generations underneath. Well, that might be a good segue now to move over. Ken's with you in the room. Say hi, Ken, and can ask questions. And maybe also that frame of loneliness, Ken, would be great in some of your commentary.
Good afternoon, everybody. Any question you like, nothing's off the table.
You find that because you've had the experiences that you've had and you've come through the other side, that you're able to better relate to people with gambling issues and help them to also make the steps towards that transition?
Absolutely, absolutely, because, and I'm going to swear, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. A gambler will away from his gambling. He will try and deflect it no matter what you might say, and that's why those that are talking to them need to be strong. It's a sort of a tough love. My actual scene shows how narcissistic I was, in that I'll be blaming the kids because they needed new school shoes. They'd grown out of them. You know, how ridiculous and appalling is that? When I was in jail, I had a captured audience. I was doing diplomas in counselling. I could apply those tactics and it worked every time. So sometimes you've got to be a little bit tough.
Ken, there's a question here. Would have anything else stopped you apart from being caught?
Someone calling me out. There was quite a few people knew that I had a gambling problem, but they chose to turn their head, to ignore it. Like Carolyn said earlier, if someone had stepped up and said, I'm not lending you $200 because I know you're going to take it down to the pokies or take it down to the TAB. I'm not going to put up with that, and I'm not going to give you any money. You need help. And that would have planted the seed enough for me, I think, to reflect on what I was doing. Might not have been the first time I was called out, but it might have been the second or third.
Did you know that you were not friends with yourself whilst in the middle of your addiction, or only retrospectively?
No, during the addiction. The self-loathing and the guilt and the shame was evident for me personally. Every time I looked in the mirror, I'd hang my head in shame. But the facade that I projected to everybody else, that he was a really, good, fun-loving person. But no, inside I was broken.
How did the conversations with your wife go about gambling during the gambling days?
Well, that's where the narcissism comes in. I would take 40 minutes to go and get a bottle of milk at the supermarket, and then come back and say something stupid like, oh, gee whiz, it was busy, or, some other ridiculous thing. I would shout her down. I would disempower her when she asked about gambling or money. I cut the conversation off with a form of domestic violence. I intimidated her until she shut up. It's an appalling behaviour, and I look back at it now and it breaks my heart, but we have spoken at length about it. I know what I did, and I love it to death, and I would love to take that back, but I can't.
What type of relationship do you have with your wife now?
It's chalk and cheese. Like, we've been married for 40 years. And it was only about, we had trouble talking when it was about money, or it was about my gambling, I wasn't home, or, and they were the troubles we had. There was still an element of love and joy and, the kids and everything. But since I stopped gambling, well, the warmth, from the heart, it's just magnificent, you know.
How are you now after this has all happened? What's your personal growth?
I reflect a lot now. The first reflection I had was sitting in a prison cell, and that was fantastic. But I reflect back a lot now on what I did, and I am just open, honest with all my family. I've got 2 magnificent grandkids that I love dearly. The biggest hiccup is, and what people don't realise, when you gamble for a long period of time, there's no money. You live payday to payday. And then when you stop gambling, and of course I haven't been able to get a job, even though I've got diplomas in counselling, I think I'd be a valid asset to any company, is that I'm behind the 8 ball financially, and I will be until I die because of my gambling. The legacy, like I haven't gambled for 10 years or more, but I am still behind the 8 ball. And that is a cause of anxiety and stress for what I caused all those years, even though everybody's forgiven me. We've all moved forward in leaps and bounds. So, yeah, there is a legacy. Gambling isn't just at the present, for the present while you're gambling. It causes major problems when you're out of it.
Okay, unlike Ken, like if I hadn't gambled, I would have had the inheritance from my father and I would have had $100,000 superannuation. So instead of renting a property and being on the pension, I would have been a little bit, just a tad better off,
I think everyone, and it always comes in the comments, it's been in the comments here, that sort of, that capacity as a human being to sort of confront yourself in your darkest hour, turn it around and become the teacher of others and open the heart is the biggest, richest gift that you can draw from it. So thank you.
Does anyone have a reflection on how this could be relevant to your work, your clientele, your understanding?
This is very, very powerful information that you lovely folks have shared with me this afternoon. I work with so many different victim survivors, and to hear your honesty, I think gives a lot of hope for people to be able to move forward from the victim perspective. But from you folks, it also gives so much hope to the client who is really struggling at the moment with their own addictions, that they're not alone. There is hope with some good self-reflection and honesty.
Yep.
So only onwards and upwards.
Well said, Trish.
Yes, very well said, Trish.
One message that we would love you to take from here is to be more open yourselves in asking, including gambling in the mix of questions or inquiries that you have with your clientele.
Thank you, Three Sides of the Coin, for that very emotive and thought-provoking presentation. I've watched you many times, but every time I get goosebumps and I get completely drawn into those performances. The impact of gambling really can be profound, and if we do not tackle loneliness and isolation, especially in older adults, the percentage of gamblers aged 50 plus is going to keep rising as Australia's population continues to age. Fortunately, support is available. Gamblers Help Services statewide. The number is on your screen, 1-800-858-858. Please do feel free to share this with people that you work with. There's a dedicated Gamblers Help Youth line. There's very specific services for Aboriginal communities. In-language counselling is available, and resources are available in languages other than English. Services can be offered over the phone or face-to-face. We can support you with self-exclusion from venues. And there's peer support available, and also support for friends and family of people affected by gambling harm. In Gippsland, Gamblers Help Services are based in 8 locations all over Gippsland. We provide free, confidential, and non-judgmental support to anyone who lives, works, or studies in Gippsland. We offer as many sessions as needed, and again, self-exclusion. Our referral process is really simple. All you have to do is call us, and you can self-refer, and we don't have a waiting list. We offer therapeutic counseling, financial counseling, community engagement, and venue support. The numbers are on your screen. I might just very, very quickly answer Tracy's question from before. How can you tell when your clients might be grappling with a gambling addiction? A lot of times gambling presents with mental health issues. Out of 4 people who have a mental health issue, we know that 3 also have a gambling problem. So look for that combination of financial stress or financial strain combined with anxiety and depression. When those 3 present, it's almost certain that there's gambling possibly involved. And again, as Ken alluded to, just mentioning financial stress along with conflict in the home is almost always a sure sign too. So thank you everyone for attending today. My particular thanks to Angela for welcoming us to country, and 3 sides of the coin, Ken and Caroline, for so bravely and openly sharing your stories. I love it when Ken says no questions are off the table. And Judy and Catherine for facilitating a very lively and useful discussion. Thank you very much, everyone.